Does anybody got any fun weekend plans? There's a soccer game this Saturday, isn't there? Does anybody know? I asked one student the time and I didn't hear. Does anybody know
I
day?
think they play at 3:30 Saturday.
3:30 Saturday, and it's a home game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna I'm gonna try and make it. Um, okay, sharing the screen. The screen has been shared. All right. So hopefully you've started out by watching this lecture. If you haven't, please do it. Um, you have some readings. None are really long. These two, I wouldn't. I mean, you'll still need to read them, but they're going to apply a little bit more to the next module. But there might be some questions. I don't want to give it away, but there might be some questions about them. I kind of rearranged things a little bit when I saw the um, where we were at, and it's a lot of students in a class for trying to do public speeches. So I mean, we're only going to be able to get 4 or 5 in a class period, I think. So that kind of changed things when I thought about it. So your next topic is going to be a persuasive speech. So you can start thinking about that maybe, and I'll post stuff as we're going, so you're not just um, that you don't have absolutely nothing to do for 2 weeks. I want you to start considering it. So please be checking your email because we're not meeting for class. I'm going to be doing the interviews. Please check your email and like I said, I don't think I'll have anything assigned, but it'll be so much better if you could start on your persuasive speech or start doing the reading or start looking at a lecture. So that way you don't have to jam it all into 1 week. I haven't really designed it yet. That's why I'm just saying be on the lookout for those emails that'll come out that'll say, hey, start looking at module 5. And I'll have all the directions and everything like that there. So there's all this kind of stuff in here that will help you supplements for the job interview portion. None of these are very long, so I highly recommend them. And then you have your chapter 5 from the reading, which is down here. Again, look over formatting and things like that. I'm very curious, and somebody could answer this for me. On your iPads, does it not automatically capitalize the letter I for you when you're typing? Because I have never seen so many uncapitalized letter I ever. So I'm kind of wondering if it just doesn't automatically do it for you. But please,
No, it doesn't.
it doesn't. Okay, take that extra 1/100th of a second and do it. The only reason is I don't want you going out into the real world. Well, not the colleges of the real world, the career world, and email your employer that way, or for a potential job or a colleague, just because it's going to look so unprofessional. So I don't know if on the student end there's a spell check, if it has any indication. And believe me, I make mistakes all the time. Um, I have a slight case of dyslexia, so it's very easy for me to. But that's why I try and extra double check it. So we don't have any like formal essays in this class. Is there a writing center on campus that you could go and take like an essay to at all, and like just have somebody look over it?
Yeah.
They have writing labs.
They have writing labs. Okay, that is if you're new to writing essays like I was when I went to college, take full advantage of it and have them explain their corrections. That's really how I learned how to write an essay, and just, I mean, to some extent, you know, grammar and things like that. And I was an advanced English student in high school. We just didn't really ever write essays, and we didn't learn formatting and anything like that. And um, the first college I went to was enormous. Montana State was huge, so professors didn't really have time to kind of get one-on-one and do these things. So I had to start going to the writing center and just be like, look, how can I improve? What can I do? And then I transferred to a very small school. It's kind of like, at the time, it was even smaller than Ozarks is. It was only like 300 students or something. And I mean, it was all essay. So it was a bit of a struggle. But I would say get to the writing labs. And some of you do such elegant formatting. It's amazing. And then some, I think you're just in the boat that I was, which is you're learning. But start with capitalizing the letter I. Hold down that shift when you hit it. And I imagine if you're typing on an iPad, I've kind of had to take that into consideration too. It's kind of a pain. I don't know if it comes with a keyboard or not, but yeah, that can get hard. Anyway, that all aside, take that into consideration. Your work is a reflection of yourself, and it doesn't tell the whole picture of who you are, but it certainly presents yourself well. And so it's just a good habit to get into. And if you ever need, I'm here too. Like if you're like, hey, Foss, can you meet with me on Teams and just go over some basic grammar stuff, or how can I improve upon some of this? I'd be happy to do that with you. But anyway, that's a huge digression. All right, the mock job. Interview instructions and overviews. So I've condensed it all. I feel like I was putting too much crap out there all over the place. So I want to go over this step by step with you. You can come back and look at it, but this is it in a nutshell. And I apologize. This being the first time I've taught this class, sometimes I want to augment and change things, and it can like really easily throw off the directions or make them confusing. It's kind of like I wrote a screenplay one time for somebody, and I had a character who was like a 15-year-old boy, and they came back and they're like, can it be a 27-year-old woman? Like them thinking it was just a couple clicks to change it, when really it changes everything by doing that. That can kind of happen on this assignment a little bit. But not so much that I don't think you're capable of doing it. So I really want to make sure you understand the directions completely. So first and foremost is check the schedule. It's posted in Module 4 as mock job interview schedule. You can click here and download a copy. If this doesn't work, it's on Canvas. So make sure you're in a good location, good internet speed, quiet. Frame yourself like we've talked about, use that nice eye level kind of positioning of the camera. You can stack it on books or whatever you need. So that way I'm not looking up your nose for an interview or, it just being kind of awkward. And I know it's a little bit hard with the iPads, but try and get it as best you can. And, implement what you've learned in class. So one of the things from the lecture was talking about the squarely face, open posture, lean in, eye contact, relaxed body. And just be like looking into your camera, not looking all over, not looking at yourself, not reading notes. You're just talking to me. So the rubric can be found under the mock job interview. And I listed it now as like turn in resume and outline here, just so you know, because there's so many like mock job interviews. But if you scroll to the bottom, you can look over the rubric for the speech portion of everything. And then you'll turn your outline and your resume in at that same spot. So this is just kind of the overview area. The mock job interview, turn in resume and outline here, which is on Canva, which is on the module page. I just put a link here if it's easier. It got like bizarrely dark outside out of nowhere. Anyway, so your resume, no more than one page, check your grammar and spelling, and use the templates provided to create a resume. So they're on, I'll go back on the module and show you where they are. And then you're going to turn in an outline. And basically I need these two things: the name of the job you want. It can be either fictitious, like let's say you want to be an engineer. That's fine. Put engineer down. If you want to go the extra step and start looking at engineering jobs that are out there, you can go on Indeed.com or Monster.com or any job site you want and just start researching it and treat it like a real thing. So you can put on the job you want as engineer for Boeing or engineer for whoever you want. So you can treat it as real as you would like to. So make sure on your outline that you have that there, and then write out your answer or an outline of why should we hire you, and that's down here, part 2. And then you can find an example by clicking here, or it's over in module 4 under why should we hire you. So that's what I need, is the answer to that question and the resume. You can put them on one well, no, keep them as 2 documents, because that way you can use your resume later if you want to just build off of it. So I use what's called a curriculum vitae. It's like a resume, but it's for teaching at college level, and it's like 9 pages, 10 pages. It's like really extensive. A resume, you just want 1 page, but it's good to keep it around, and that way you just, as you get a new job, you just update it, and then you don't have to build a new one every time. Okay, so that's the paperwork side of what will be turned in, and that is all due by the 10th. So that is, I believe, Monday? Yes, Monday. It shouldn't take you a considerable amount of time, and that way as I'm doing the interviews, I know what job you're interviewing for, is the crux of it. And then I have the ability then to look over the why should we hire you and see how close you were to what you wrote down. Not that I'm expecting you to memorize it. That's not really the point of the extemporaneous, but it's a jumping off point. So whatever or however it's going to help you. And again, you can look at that example. So there's 3 parts to the speech. The first thing I'll do is tell me about yourself. Now there's an example on module 4 using the SEAT, the seat list that some of you watched the video over, but I just put an example, a PDF of it that you can read over. So it stands for skills and abilities, experience and education, awards and achievements, and the type of person you are. And that should be 1 to 3 minutes. So I'd say closer to 1. So you want to just kind of boil that down to, how you would respond in a real situation. There's a video for you to watch as well to kind of see it put into action. But that's really how you should kind of start it. And it's something we're going to work on today, that you're going to kind of go a little bit off the cuff, and you're going to start developing what it is you think you could say for that part. So then once you're done with this section, I'll ask you, why should we hire you? And this is the part that you're already going to written down, and you're going to answer these questions. Some of them you might not know. Like what do you know about the company or the kind of job? What are the challenges they face? Those are things you might not know unless you have like a little bit of in-depth information, or maybe it's an industry that's struggling, whatever the case may be that you might know. So some of it, again, you might, like that's why I put on here, answer it to the best of your ability. I know I was at an interview one time at a university, and I was with the president, and it was the weirdest thing. Like he pointed out all these empty buildings on campus and told me they were $23 million in debt. So that was a hard thing to know, like to know about the company, and how can you as a professor help that? And I guess you could say something like create a culture where students want to attend the school so the school can pay off its credit bills or whatever. So maybe you know challenges, maybe you don't. And then how does your experience relate to what they need? So you're going to answer these questions. Again, this is the second part of your outline that's due, along with the resume. And then in your speech, after you get done with this part, 2 to 3 minutes, I'll ask you an impromptu question. I'll ask you something generic that you can probably assume you're going to hear in an interview, like, what's your biggest weakness? I'm not going to tell you necessarily what it is, so I want you to maintain good extemporaneous style speaking and answer to the best of your ability whatever I ask. So that's how this will go. Again, the rubric is just for your speech on how you do. Um, the 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 resume and the outline will only factor in if they're not there. It's -10 per component, minus a point for every grammar mistake. Again, I'll kind of stick with I'll give you 2 free ones, but after that, and then minus 10 for every section doesn't hit the required time. So those things can affect your overall grade on this. Are there any questions over this? No? Okay. So going back here, again, this is where you'll turn in the resume and the outline. Here's the schedule. So you can kind of look over this and see when you're going to be. You can expect it to be, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not going to go over 10 minutes. And then this time that I have here, I will call you on Teams. We're going to try it the first day and see if this is the best fit. So just be prepared for this. And actually, when I have you, let me think how I want to do this. I might ask one of you to volunteer after class, if you won't mind, for like 2 minutes just to let me test it out. Because I'm going to try and make this the most convenient for you, not necessarily for me. I just don't want to set up this structure and it not work. But I'm pretty sure it will allow me to call whoever I want. But I might ask one of you if you mind volunteering and just let me try and call you. So, point being, be on your iPad ready to go around this time. It might be a couple minutes over. It might be a couple minutes, hopefully not under, but I'll wait for this time actually. Like I'm not going to call you earlier than what it was. But just know somebody might go 11 minutes, somebody might go 9, somebody might go 12. So it could get a little bit off. And that's why I didn't plan for too many for the day. So yeah, at your own convenience, make sure you look at this and know when you're going. And right here, I have a job interview extra credit. I highly recommend that you do this. The school, in fact, I was very close to requiring this, but I just didn't. So I'm going to make it extra credit. And I'm going to have it go towards your assignments, not towards a speech. So that will definitely help some of you who may have missed assignments here or there. The school is putting on in the career services mock interviews, the 18th through the 20th. So you email Andrea Cooper, and I found you need to copy and paste it, the links being weird. And you pick a time and date of meeting up, and then they have somebody there. You interview, and they'll give you a form with a score on it, and you can just email me a picture or upload a picture of your score sheet that I know you participated, and I'll give you 50 bonus points for doing it. So it could be a good thing, or it could, if you're already at like 100% and you want some get out of jail freeze on assignments, it might be a nice, easy way of doing that, although I recommend you still do assignments. Here's examples of a resume that you can use, and you can actually build off of it. Here's a video on how to make a resume. And then here's that outline I was telling you about on the why we should hire you. So the student just basically copied the questions and pasted in their answers. And that's really all you need to do. And they had a job ad that they used, and you don't have to use that. So that's what this part is. So that's not required at all. But I'm not looking for a lot. I'm just looking that you put in time and effort to plan what you're going to say instead of just like, oh, I'm just going to kind of make it up as I go. Okay. So we had a considerable amount of people. We had quite a few missing last class, and it could have been how I posed how the homework was. Um, so we'll just chalk it up to that. We had a lot of people miss this video. Um, so if you want to go back and watch that one, that would be great if you missed it. Everybody did this and everybody did kind of good. Just out of complete curiosity, based on the reactions I got, is there anybody that found the alter ego, like anything from it that you feel like you can implement into your speeches? And you don't have to say it, you could just put your hand up if you're like, oh yeah, that was kind of a good point that maybe I could kind of do that. Or is there anybody who's actually tried doing that before? Okay, I see one. I'll take one. Kind of a little bit of a shot in the dark, but I'm like, it might help because so many people are saying they're so nervous about this process. So it's all about honing those skills of overcoming anxiety, nervousness, building confidence. I don't know if I buy at 100 completely percent, but I think there was a lot of good from it, and I felt like most people had a relatively positive take on everything. So anyway, it's there if you want to watch it again, or if you missed it. So in light of how many people missed this video or had issues with the link, again, if you're ever having an issue with the link, like if it comes up and it's just like this gray, like cannot connect, just click right there and away you go. I don't know why it does it on some and not on others, but that's, if at that point it doesn't work, then you can email me and be like, Foss, this link doesn't work. But it might also be your connection or something too. Because unless I get like 30 of them, I'm like, I think it's working. But anyway, and I apologize, I'm still so congested. Cool. Okay, yes. So in lieu of that, we have another video here. You'll notice it's for 0 points. Because it's a little bit extra points / makeup points. I'm going to ask a question just because so many people missed it. Is it easier for me to put a link here for the video? Like in the aside, I try and do both, but I didn't want it to make it feel like I'm that there's two videos and you might miss one. Is it easier for me to put it in the assignment or on the module page? What makes it more organized for you to see what's there? I personally like it on the module page and putting it in the assignment. Has that way? I mean, this class has been pretty consistent with it. So has that model worked for everyone?
Yeah, I feel like it should be on the modules.
Okay. So I will keep putting it there. I think for this time, I'll put it on there when you're going, but it's right here. So if you did miss it,
is needed to excel in the role.
And I'll just copy and paste it now. If you miss those points, they're only 5 points, but I don't want to minimize, your grade or their worth or anything like that. So you have the option of making up those 5 points by watching this. Check your grammar and spelling. Write 5 to 10 sentences, 5 to 10 sentence response on what you learned or tips you can implement in your interview. So that's there if you want to make up 5 points or if you want to gain 5 points. It's worth none, so it is there for your. That's going to bother me. It is there for your benefit if you need it. So we have that you can work on today. I have it due tomorrow at 8 just to give you a little time. Um, and let's go back over to the module here. So, what we're going to do today is I'm going to put you in groups again, and I want you to work on 2 of the questions that you'll get in the job interview. So you're going to kind of rotate. There's going to be an interviewer and an interviewee, and you can just rotate however you and the group want to go, but everybody should take a turn being both. You'll ask 2 questions, one at a time, and you'll need to record the following: who your interviewee is, your question, and then just give some feedback. Hopefully you watched on critiquing, and keep it positive. Like, what did they do well? What maybe they can work on. If they don't want to participate or whatever, just put that down. So again, this is just for practice. And that's kind of, the whole point of why I like doing these groups is we can't sit and all of us watch 30 people in a class. So getting in groups and just getting comfortable with it. But take it seriously. It should take you 2 to 3 minutes and then you're done. Okay. So first you'll ask, the interviewer will ask, tell me about yourself. The interviewee will respond using that SEAT method, the skills, experience, awards, if you have any, and the type of person you are, and roughly 1 minute. And then the interviewer will select one of the following. Pick one of these questions and ask them, and see what happens. So it's a little bit impromptu, so it's getting practice with both of them. But before you begin, I'd like it if everybody could take 5 minutes and read this Tell Me About Yourself PDF. So this has a breakdown of that SEAT method. This is from the video of the guy who kind of championed this. And so you can just read over, the skills, the experience, the awards, and the type of person. So it breaks it down in a good example of what you can use. So take 5 minutes before you start and just go over this on your own. And please don't take more than 5 minutes. That way we can get the practice session going, and just go from there. And again, be on the lookout for emails coming up, because I'll probably have you just start, rather tacitly on your persuasive speech. And this will give you 2 weeks sort of uninterrupted that you can just kind of really work your way into doing it versus, now we're done with the job interview and I have a mountain of work to do with this versus slowly building up and getting it done. So before I put you in rooms, does anybody have any questions? No question? Yeah.
So are we not meeting like next week like this? We're just like kind of individually doing it, or?
Well, you'll go when you're on the schedule. So no, we won't meet on Teams for class. I'll be doing one-on-one interviews. I will call you individually when it's your time. But during this week, next week at some point, I will send you what you can start working on to prepare for the persuasive speech. But no, we won't meet up on Teams. I will only meet with those people who are on the schedule, for a certain day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And somebody else has a question. Go for it, Emily.
Okay, so if we already have a resume built, can we use that, or do we need to use the template you provided?
No, you can submit one in. That's fine. Because I might use part of your resume as that impromptu question. Like, I see you worked for blah, blah, blah. Or do you mind me asking why you left such and such a place? Or, something like that. What kind of experience did you gain working at, wherever? But yeah, you can by all means use what you have. I know some people might be intimidated about making one. That's why I provided a template. Any other questions? No? All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put you in rooms, but go ahead, like I said, go on Canvas and look over that PDF. Tell me about yourself PDF. I will put the link to that video for the assignment, and I'll be bouncing around between the rooms. If for some reason I'm not there and you're done, just send me a chat, and I'll come in, take attendance, and then you're good to go. Cool deal? Let's see, how many do we have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 18, 19. We got 20. Let's do 5 rooms. All right, so in just a second, it will get you in there. If for some reason it's not taking you, just let me know, and I'll do what I can to get you in there. But there should be 4 total people per room. And don't forget to upload a document saying your question and what your feedback was. All right. And you don't have to do it for the whole room, just the person that you were the interviewer for.